What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today I'm going to be talking about a couple of different meme stocks, some of which have been exploding over the past couple of days, some of which are priming themselves to explode. A lot of people are excited, and some people are very hurt because of these stocks. We're going to talk about them. Their ticker symbols HKD, AMTD, and AMC will also touch on, and how all of these stocks are interplaying with each other and affecting one another, and what's going on in the current situation. Right now, you can see ticker symbol HKD is currently crashing. It's down massively from the highs of $2,500 per share all the way down to $650 per share. Still up dramatically from where a lot of people were buying it. If you look over the past 30 days, you can see at one point this thing was as low as $12.05. So there's still been a massive gain for a lot of investors, but overall, a lot of people have been screwed over the past 2 days as this thing has plummeted. Unfortunately, a lot of people were probably pouring some money into this stock when it was near its peak. That's when we actually reached peak euphoria, peak Google Trends data, right? We actually saw this red line right here, AMTD or HKD, spike up around August 2nd at 1 p.m. And that is exactly when this thing was at peak euphoria at $2,500 per share. Unfortunately, I fear a lot of people jumped in around there and have lost massive amounts of money. It's down about 62% from those highs right there. And we actually, I did my best to let people know what I thought in a video. When it was around $1,800 per share, I warned people, hey, watch out, this could be a scam. Obviously, it's not financial advice, but we did release this video, HKD and AMTD stock scam alert. Watch out. You can see right there in the video, the price was, below the highs of $2,500, right around $1,800. Unfortunately, I didn't hear about this thing until it was at these prices, and I looked at it and realized it was just too crazy of a situation, too good to be true stock to continue moving up, and for a couple of reasons. And so I'm going to try and share my thoughts and let you guys know what tipped me off in regards to this stock being at the end of its pump, why I thought it was probably at this point just a scam for anyone else who was jumping in. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, the stock's going to double, it's going to triple, it's going up even higher. And I realized that probably wasn't the case. So I'm going to try and share some of my knowledge, some of what I've seen in the markets, and try to explain to you guys how I was thinking about this and what tipped me off to the fact that this was probably more of a scam at that point than something that money could be made on. And part of it had to do with something very obvious, the market cap, okay? The market cap of this stock had gotten up to around $400 billion. It was larger than about 480 of the 500 companies in the S&P 500. This was one of the world's biggest assets for a short period of time. It was up around $400 billion in market cap, and it had moved up from closer from, I believe it started around a $2 billion market cap. So it was absolutely a crazy move for this thing to go up that much. It was absolutely didn't make any sense, right, based on the fundamentals. The company itself said that there were no material circumstances that changed how high the stock price should have been going. Nothing was different about the company when it was at a $2 billion market cap versus a $400 billion. So that tipped me off that we were probably close to the end of this pump. And in addition to the fact that we ended up seeing extremely low volume. I mean, the volume, if you look at the volume chart, you can see we were at one point seeing rather high volume back when this thing was closer to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks. Even when it was around 100, 200, 300, we were still seeing decent volume coming in. But you can see the volume chart, the volume just completely evaporated. No one was buying this thing when it was up at these highs of 2,500, when it was at 1,800. And even today, no one's really buying it. You can see there's hardly any buyers in this thing. And unfortunately, we are falling dramatically. We're down around 650. It looks like we may have been halted. And AMTD as well. Similar thing happening there, right? These are both subsidiaries of the same Hong Kong-based company, both ADRs for that company. And both of these stocks pumped up around the same time and are falling around the same time. Now, a lot of people are saying that these stocks are just distractions from AMC and the big pump that AMC is eventually going to go through. And you can see over the past 30 days, AMC's been doing pretty well. In fact, just earlier today, this morning, AMC was hitting up around $20 per share. Now, I'm actually at a point where I'm getting close to exiting my AMC position. I've had an AMC position for the past couple of months, and now that I'm getting close to a break even, I'm thinking of exiting that position. It's not something that I've done yet. I'll probably do it sometime the end of this week, now that I'll just be exiting for a small loss, and only because I'm more interested in putting that money towards other more fundamental plays than AMC, which is more of a meme stock. Obviously, a lot of people are interested in it for that reason, and does have big pump potential, right? We're up pretty dramatically over the course of just 30 days, or even just 5 days. We're up quite a bit on AMC, but it's one that I'm not too interested in holding anymore. I'm starting to move towards more of a fundamental analysis position when I think about how I want to be buying these stocks. I want to be buying them more off the fundamentals and investing for the long term. A lot of this short term trading based off what could pump up, it's interesting me less and less. I want to take a little bit more time away from the screen, just invest in companies, spend some good time doing some research on companies, figure out what companies are going to do well over the course of years, just throw some money in there, let it sit back and relax, basically, and not be looking at it day to day to day, worrying so much about it, and taking a bit more of a relaxed approach, because at the end of the day, I don't really want to be tied to my screen all day worrying about the minute-to-minute price action of stocks, and it's something that I've been moving away from for a while. And this latest downturn in the market has made me realize it's not something that I'm as interested in as I once thought, right? I don't want to be sitting there day after day, eyes glued to the screen. It's not good for you. And it's something that some people might be interested in. Certainly, there's some money to be made, as we've learned from HKD and AMTD. If you got in early on those, you made a whole lot of money. But overall, there's a whole lot of money to be made in passive investing and long-term investing also. So that's something that I'm going to be looking more into and trying to take more of an approach towards turning in that direction, as opposed to just getting in these meme plays, which AMC, it's interesting for a lot of people. There's certainly some upside potential to it, especially as the market starts to come back. A lot of meme stock traders have probably made a bunch of money off of HKD and AMTD, especially, if you were buying towards the lows of HKD when it was at $12 or even $100. And maybe if you sold around 1800, you made a whole bunch of money, and you can then pour that into AMC. So it makes a lot of sense why AMC is pumping up right now. I think that, it's a stock for some people, just not something that I'm as interested in right now. Just trying to share some of my thoughts regarding that. I'll probably be exiting this sometime later this week. Maybe I'll sell some options on it. We'll see what I end up doing with it. I'll let you guys know. But as for HKD, AMTD, I'm definitely not interested in these, right? These have proven to be just what I thought, right? I figured they were more scam stocks than anything else at the point which I'd heard about them. They were already up near their highs. They'd already hit their highs of $2,500, and we're sitting around 1,800. I wasn't too interested in them at that point. I'd seen them already pump up to massive, massive market caps and volume decrease to virtually nothing. I mean, we were looking at, some of these bars at day to day, we were looking at maybe 485 shares trading over the course of 10 minutes. That's not something that's going to sustain itself at $1,800 when there's people who had made a bunch of money from buying it at 100 and then had the opportunity to sell for an 18x profit. I think that's the kind of situation in which some people are going to sell. So overall, both of these stocks are not things that I'm too interested in the future. I don't think they have too much pump potential. There might be some residual bounces that they get since they are just going on their initial descent. But I think these are probably going to end up much, much lower, much closer to their original market caps. Once again, AMTD Digital Inc., ticker symbol HKD, is currently still at $130 billion market cap. I think this one has quite a ways to go to the downside. And it's not even a short position that I'd be interested in taking, because you never know what's going to happen. And at any point, this thing could very quickly go from 650 to 1200 or 1300 and could be a negative 100% on a short position. So not something that I'm interested in shorting. There's so much volatility out there with this one. It's just not something I'm interested in. It's something I'm going to have a hands-off approach towards. And this is just some of my opinions on these stocks and AMC and all that. Just letting you guys know what I'm thinking about this whole situation. There is actually a very important thing that I wanted to share with you. A very important quote. We always share quotes at the end of these videos. If you guys are new, if you're just finding this video through search, this is a quote from Seneca, a Stoic philosopher from Rome. Okay, he says, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." And this applies to life as well as trading. I'll explain both real quick. It applies to trading and investing, because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what your stop loss is, if you don't know when you're going to cut losses, if you don't know when you're going to take profits, if you don't know why you're buying into a stock, then no price action is favorable, really, because you're just kind of buying in randomly and selling out randomly. If you don't have a plan, if you don't know what you're doing, then no price action, nothing happening in the stock market is really favorable. It's all just kind of random. And on average, you'll probably just get the average market returns, just like you see when a monkey picks stocks and it has no idea what it's doing. It can get, and on average, better returns, right? You're better off, in my opinion, doing that than just letting your money sit in a bank account, because we know what happens to that money. It just gets inflated away. But on average, I'd say A lot of people don't know too much about what they're doing. They don't have too good of an idea why they're buying the stocks they buy. They just hear a ticker symbol and then they go all in. And unfortunately, a lot of people heard about this stock, HKD, when it was at its peak, as we saw from the Google Trends data. A lot of people bought into this stock probably when they first heard about it because there was a lot of hype. A lot of people were saying this thing could go up much further. And unfortunately, I fear a lot of people did end up losing quite a bit of money over the course of the past 2 days. A lot of people probably lost quite a bit of money. But this quote applies to life as well. It's not just trading, right? If you guys don't know what you're doing in life, if you don't know why you're doing things, then no events that happen are really that favorable, right? You can't use those events to get where you want if you don't know where you're headed. So always try to think maybe just a couple minutes a day in the morning about where are you headed in life? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? And then when things do happen over the course of years, you can help use that to steer you in the right direction. And you can end up in a much better place than where you currently are over the course of years. And it doesn't even require that much work, just a couple minutes a day, maybe 10, 15 minutes thinking about what you want out of life and what you'd like your life to look like when you look back if you're 80 years old or something like that. So other than that, guys, that's just a quick update on some of my thoughts on the market and HKD, AMTD, AMC, all that. Just what I'm thinking at the moment. And not financial advice, obviously, just my opinion. If you guys appreciate it, feel free to subscribe. And other than that, hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.